my pleasure to welcome you to today's historic opening ceremony of the Civil War, World War II, and Iraq War exhibits here in the Maryland Museum of Military History. Today's ceremony will also include a special dedication to the valor of the Maryland 400. Please stand for the arrival of the official party, the presentation of the colors by the 175th Color Guard, singing of the national anthem by Specialist Bow, and invocation by Chaplain Ortega.
Color guard, hold, left, face, present, arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rugged red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, arms. Right, face, forward, march.
Invite you to bow with me for prayer. Almighty God, in Exodus 3:15 you said to Moses, "Thus you shall say to the sons of Israel, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial name to all generations." Throughout the biblical narrative, from Bethel to the Passover and the Lord's Supper, Memorials hold significant importance as they serve as tangible reminders of your faithfulness, covenant promises, and mighty acts throughout history. Lord, in your sovereign plan, you have made us Americans. For us, a memorial is a record linking our past to the present. Memorials afford us the opportunity to remember and honor individual and collective sacrifice. They offer a physical space for reflection and the processing of grief. Memorials are an anchor, uniting communities together and fostering a shared sense of gratitude. They educate us not only on the history of the conflict and its circumstances, but on the human cost of war. War memorials are a testament to America's willingness and resolve to endure hardships in defending our Constitution and preserving the inalienable rights that you, in your mercy and grace, have so richly bestowed upon us. Today, we remember the courage of the Maryland 400 during the Revolutionary War. Today, we remember America's two bloodiest conflicts that in their brief 7.5 years combined yielded over 1 million battlefield deaths. Today, we remember the commitment and sacrifices made over the past 25 years of the war in Iraq. Lord, we ask for your blessings on our time together. May the honor we seek to bestow upon those to whom it is due bring you glory. And we ask this in the precious name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Specialist Bo, for that beautiful national anthem, and Chaplain Ortega. To all guests standing in the back, please feel free to move forward to any open seats as you see. Please be seated. Today's official party consists of Major General Janine L. Burkhead, the Adjutant General of Maryland; Brigadier General Andrew W. Collins, the Assistant Adjutant General, Army Commander; and Dr. Shively, Maryland National Guard's Command Historian. On behalf of the Adjutant General of Maryland, Major General Janine L. Burkhead, I would like to extend a special warm welcome to our distinguished guests here at today's ceremony. Maryland Secretary of State, Susan Lee; Secretary Ed Rothstein; Senator Benjamin Brooks; Delegate Stuart Schmidt; County Executive Bob Casserly; Representative for Dr. James Dula; Ms. Charlize Richardson; and Mr. Chris Yule. Major General Ternetti, Commanding General, CECOM; Brigadier General Drew Doherty, Maryland Air National Guard, Air Commander; Brigadier General Dale Murray, Virginia Army National Guard, DCG Operations; Brigadier General Craig Hunter, Director, Joint Staff; Brigadier General Retired Sean Casey; Brigadier General Retired Warner Sumter; Brigadier General Retired Marco Harris; Command Sergeant Major David Harry, Maryland National Guard Senior Enlisted Leader; and Command Sergeant Major Patrick Metzger, Maryland Army National Guard, Command Sergeant Major. A warm welcome is extended to all current and former service members of the United States military who are here with us today. Your dedicated service and leadership are responsible for making this the most professional and capable military force in the world. Finally, a very special thank you is offered to the family members of our military servicemen and women, and to our volunteers. Without your support, our service would not be possible today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Julie Shibley, the Maryland National Guard's Command Historian, to provide an overview of the Maryland Museum of Military History.
Major General Burkett, Brigadier General Collins, honored guests, Maryland Military Department colleagues. As the Maryland National Guard Command Historian, I am honored to be given the opportunity to boast about the proud history of our Guardsmen and to talk about the museum that preserves and displays artifacts, highlighting its storied history, from Maryland's founding in 1634 to recent events, both at home and abroad. And the museum is fittingly housed here in the Fifth Regiment Armory. This armory itself is an historic piece. Built in 1901, it is the oldest operating armory in Maryland. Throughout the armory's history, on this drill floor, Maryland Guardsmen have drilled, deployed, returned from deployments. They have also collected and stored artifacts and documents that tell their story and the story of the Maryland National Guard. This was especially true of Major General William Purnell, 175th Infantry Regiment commander during World War II. He dreamed of a room in which to display the many artifacts and war trophies captured by the 175th while they fought the Germans under the 29th Division. After the war, he established the Memorial Hall, which, if you go through the museum, is now the World War I room. For the next 40 years, the informal museum developed era by era, room by room, thanks in large part to Colonel Bernard Feingold. In 1990, Adjutant General Major General James Freder hired Joseph Balkowski as the Maryland National Guard historian. With Freder's and the next tag, Major General Tuxell's support, Balkowski formalized this museum and created the Maryland Museum of Military History. The museum and archives have since grown and expanded to include the Air Guard and recent history of our soldiers and airmen who participated in the Iraq and Afghanistan deployments, domestic operations, and with our state partners, Estonia and Bosnia and Herzegovina. This past year, our museum staff has worked tirelessly to refresh, rearrange, and revamp the museum with new exhibits and documents and donations that provide a deeper and more complete narrative of the Maryland National Guard. And that's why we're here today, to celebrate the distinguished history of the Maryland National Guard and to view the new exhibits open to the public for the first time. So as you explore the rooms, you will first see that our proud lineage begins in 1634 with the founding of Maryland herself. From there, you will witness our official birth in 1774, when Mordecai Gist raised the Baltimore Independent Cadets to defend Baltimore. You will understand why the gathering room on the second floor, originally the 175th Infantry Regimental Room, is being renamed. Maryland's first of the 175th traces its lineage back to the 115th Infantry of World War I and World War II, back to Purnell's Legion of the Civil War, to the 5th Maryland in the War of 1812, and beyond that, to the Revolutionary War's Maryland 400, with its roots in Mordecai Gist's Baltimore Independent Cadets. So actually, if you look around this overhang, you will see that it lists all the commanders of the 175th, beginning with Mordecai Gist. So it is fitting that we honor our legacy unit by naming this room the Maryland 400 Room. So when you reach the Civil War room, you can't help but notice the newest exhibit, a Civil War-based drum. But this isn't just any Civil War drum. This drum accompanied the 5th Maryland during the Battle of Antietam, the single bloodiest day of the Civil War. So while our legacy unit, Purnell's Legion, was fighting the Confederates in the Westwoods, young Walter Russell of the 5th Regiment was in the killing field of the Sunken Road, beating his drum as his comrades fought and died near Bloody Lane. So look closely at the drum, and you'll see the scars that bear witness to that terrible day. Our third special exhibit features the reopening of the World War II room with an awe-inspiring 35 by 40-foot mural that originally was painted and displayed in one of the service clubs on Fort Meade. The artists, technician 4th grade Clarence McWilliams and Frank Schwartzlander were assigned to the post during World War II. Trained artists, they poignantly depicted President Roosevelt's description of America's arsenal of democracy, with the entire United States supporting the war effort. So we hope that you will see some of your own history in the stories of the men and women told throughout the museum, because this is your museum, your history. So thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting our Maryland National Guard. And if you are a history nerd, you're going to find out more about our founding in this little pamphlet. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shively. I would like to just give a little bit of recognition to Delegate Heather Bagnall in attendance today. Thank you for joining me. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Adjutant General of Maryland, Major General Janine L. Burkhead, for her comments. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is not a solemn occasion. This is really, it really isn't. This is a wonderful day. And I'm so glad you all turned out. I want to call out a couple families, a couple people who have served here for a long time and before my time, but I know that they treasure the 5th as much as I do. General Sumter, I thank you for coming up from the shore. You know, you were there when it started, and General Frederick had this idea. He loves history and wanted to preserve it. So, and you were Chief of Staff that time. Army Commander, thank you so much for coming out today. It means a lot. And I see a pulpit back there. Thank you. You've been part of the rich history and the fabric of the Maryland National Guard, and certainly have been here through some of the historic times at the 5th Regiment Armory. General Casey, thank you for coming out today. You two have sat over here and had the woes and the good times of having the water leak on you and the roaches and all that. But you know, we love our 5th Regiment Armory. And then General Harris, you know, you spent a time here too. Sergeant Major Nugent and Sergeant Major Workman, where are you? There's Workman, where are you, Nugent? Oh, there you are, Nugent, yep. Sergeant Major Nugent has, and Sergeant Major Workman can tell you a lot about this building and every dusty corner. And so when I became Adjutant General, there's a spot out back. We're not gonna let you go there today because it's still dangerous, right? But probably hadn't been open since General Sumter was a lieutenant.
And we had lots of old artifacts in there, and the team's like, what is this? Like, we need to make sure we're preserving and saving this. This is our history, and we need to do a better job at that, and we need to recognize that. And so they pulled it out, wiped it off. You know, the team has been doing a phenomenal job, and then just scouring and collecting histories. And I want to add, though, also that please reach out to the team as our veterans leave us. We want to make sure that we're capturing their stories, and the team is doing a really good job about doing that, sitting down with individuals who have been here in Maryland, served during the wars, and capturing their history and their time with the Maryland National Guard. So please, if you know anyone, we need to capture their story. Please let it be known, because we want to do that and honor them. So usually those who have not served in uniform are sometimes curious or incredulous at the idea that anyone would willingly risk their life at war, not specifically to save a family member, not specifically for a neighbor, but just to put it all on the line for a fellow American that they know. And with the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army on our minds just around the corner, and the 250th anniversary of the United States of America on the horizon, this is a meaningful time to remind ourselves of those brave individuals who sacrificed, those who had these great ideas that shaped our nation. And with that in mind, I'm honored to welcome you today to the historic Fifth Regiment Armory as we aim to spotlight 3 critical points in history. As you think about the men and the women that we honor today, try to put yourself in their boots. Maryland soldiers in the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and World War II were not thinking about being part of history at all. You know, today as we mark, the 80th commemoration at the end of World War II, just think about that. But we're talking about the Revolutionary War and the Civil War preceding that. They were fighting for the soldiers on their left and the soldiers on their right. They were serving for their fellow American they had never met and would never meet, frankly. They were sacrificing for our future. Throughout 250 American years, Maryland's sons and daughters have stepped forward to serve, and my fellow soldiers and airmen are now part of that legacy. They have earned the right to feel pride in their service. Today, they continue to make a difference and to make history. So let's view these memorials not as a dusty page in history, although you will find a lot of dust in this building, no matter how we try to keep up, but as an early chapter of history to which you are contributing every day. We are memorializing the Maryland 400 as part of our celebration of 250 years of U.S. history. Because we might not have 250 U.S. years if it were not for that unit of Marylanders fighting in the Battle of Long Island 250 years and 6 days ago. The fight had not gone well for the Continental Army, as we know, and General George Washington knew he had to retreat or lose his army. A contingent of the 1st Maryland Regiment was led that day by Major Mordecai Gist. He knew it was possibly a suicide mission, but he pledged to hold the line, to buy time for Washington to escape. The sides were absurdly lopsided. A small slice of fledgling Continental Army, fewer than 400 in fact, against more than 2,000 troops, against the mighty British Army. 100 captured, hundreds killed, the brave fellows that honored the Maryland Monument in Prospect Park in Brooklyn, for they are heroes of the nation. Today we honor them among their own. Maryland was there for the War of Independence, the war to save the Union, and 16-year-old Walter Russell from Baltimore was at the Battle of Antietam in 1862, carrying not a rifle but a drum, keeping cadence for his fellows as the 5th Regiment marched. 1 in 4 men were killed or injured. Russell stood his ground. Shrapnel tore through his drum, and the drum now is on display here at the 5th Regiment Armory. I take such pride in that. I think he would have been proud too. Standing fast for his fellow soldiers, for his regiment, and for the ideas of what America could be. The Maryland 1st served during the Spanish-American War. The whole of the Maryland National Guard was mobilized and federalized for World War I, a conflict so destructive it was called the war to end all wars. They were wrong. Maryland saw more mobilizations of National Guard units in World War II. Few Americans were not touched by the war. Most Americans supported our military units in one way or another. 2 soldiers assigned to Fort Meade in 1943, technician 4th grade Clarence McWilliams and Frank Schwartzlander, captured the spirit of America. They crafted these beautiful murals. Their intent was to signal the teamwork of industrial, agriculture, and military might, and how that contributed to the war effort. And that's what we're celebrating in the murals painted in 1943, and how relevant they still are today. The mural captured the way that it took a team of ordinary Americans working at home and in the military to defend liberty across our globe. We can be grateful to the many who teamed together to rescue these murals, restore them, and give them a new place of honor here in our 5th Regiment Armory. Ms. Barbara Taylor knew the value of those working with Fort Meade Museum. Thank you, Barbara. Where are you? Thank you. The Maryland Defense Force volunteers who handled the delicate work of removing it from Fort Meade due to the building being demolished. Where are you, my MDDF team? Thank you. Thank you. The National Guard, Lieutenant Colonel Mary Staub, I saw you. Where are you? Where are you, Mary? Thank you. Arranged for the transfer to the Maryland National Guard. The Maryland Military Historical Society and Kirk McWilliams, son of the original artist. There you are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Contributed the funds and inspiration to restore the art you can see today. Mr. McWilliams said of the mural, "It's symbolic." I quote, "The whole country got behind that war, and the mural captures the unity of a nation." And Dr. Julie Shavely, my partner in history, who motivates, who educates, and keeps stories alive, right there in the front, notably making sure that our men and women in uniform are recognized. And I will, again, make a plug, because she is empowered to go out and share our story with you. If you have a need, please reach out. We love to do that. And a thank you to the Maryland 250 Commission for awarding an Inclusive History Grant, which will cover the cost of the Maryland 400 commemoration plaque, memorializing the Maryland 400 for their bravery and determined spirit. Where are you, 250 Commission? There you are. Thank you. Thank you. These new exhibits and memorials remind us of how we work best. Team of teams. I would add one final thought. History sounds musty and dusty. Like 124 years ago, this building was built. But here's the deal. We need not brush off history. I implore you to observe, and better yet, activate your human spirit to be part of it. It is what made our great nation possible. Be open to inspiration from those who gave up uncomfortable so we can live our lives that we do. Those who traveled far from home and responded to orders. Those who ran to the gunfire, literally ran to the gunfire. Be aware, you are making history now, team. Together, we are adding our experiences to this great tapestry, just like that mural we're gonna see today. That tapestry of America and the American experience. Today, as we unveil these exhibits and we open our doors, let us remind ourselves of our freedom from tyranny and the right to shape our own future. Thank you.
Thank you, Major General Burkett. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome Ms. Charlize Richardson to the stage. She will be delivering remarks on behalf of Senator Chris Van Hollen.
Good afternoon. My name is Charlize Richardson, and I have the distinct honor